Hello and welcome back to the Chicken for Breakfast podcast.
Where we have all the answers to one very simple question.
What's cooking?
That is a very important question and very fitting on today's episode.
Absolutely.
I'm your host, Magic. We got David in the house.
Back again.
And I'm Charlie O, City Living Entertainment.
Absolutely. And like I said, I think what's cooking is the most answerable question when Charlie's here. We got a lot to talk about today. But how are you feeling, Charlie?
I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling real good about the launch of internet radio station. Working with Studio Zero, a couple other clients that Studio Zero have. I want to get involved with.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to jump into the radio station, but there's so much about Charlie O that we gotta really jump into, and I think it's only fitting. So I went home for the holidays this last season, and I was telling them back at home that I had the best turkey of my life. So we had a studio party, and it was the best. Charlie is always hooking us up here at Studio Zero with the food. I mean, it is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm not quite sure exactly how much I put on the turkey, but it was a little avocado oil, some salt, pepper, garlic and onion powder, a few sprinkles of thyme, and put it in the oven.
He's giving us the secret sauce right now.
I mean, that was the best turkey I had that year. And it's definitely in probably like the top 5 I've had that I can remember.
Okay. And I don't want to give off but that was actually my first time doing that kind of
Okay, all right. Okay. But no, seriously, so I want to jump in and really kind of get into how you started cooking and just the joy that it brings you. Because I feel like you wouldn't do it as often if you didn't enjoy it. And that might be an assumption, but I want to just dive into that.
It's a little bit of an assumption, but for the most part, I enjoy not necessarily cooking, but I enjoy pleasing people with comfort, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
As far as the cooking aspect, I don't like actually standing in front of a 400 or 500 degree oven. I did that for more than 20 years as a career choice. I don't want to go in and out of coolers, freezers, back in front of that 400 or 500 degree oven on my feet all day. So, but the creation of recipes, trying new stuff out, having people try it, the atmosphere that comes around the food when people sit at the table, and I don't cook for everybody. I won't cook for everybody. I'm a firm believer that food and breaking bread, so to speak, go hand in hand. You don't feed your enemy. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying be rude or disrespectful to the enemy, but for me in my house and the way I was raised, you only invite family and friends to your dinner table. So I enjoy the concept of eating with someone more than I actually do cooking. I did have a passion for it years ago though, but once it became a job,
So I think it's really interesting that you bring that up because I feel like, especially these days, food is like a staple of you can really mess up a relationship. I think there is a level of, in every aspect of life, like food is a big deal these days. And I think that's okay. I think it's, some people take food very seriously. Other people, they might not take it as seriously, but I think it's really important.
Yeah, I mean, food is a necessity. So if someone's providing a necessity for you, that you should in return have gratitude or some type of relationship or some type of mutual, positive energy towards that person just for providing this necessity. It's kind of hard these days to find a good friend. So for me, food shows friendship. It shows trust. So, I mean, I can definitely understand what you're saying.
I feel that 100%. I think back to when we shot Interval and how much the food kind of held everything down. Because when you're on those 12, 14, 16-hour days, there's not much more to look forward to than a hot plate of food. And,
no, that's real.
We had plenty of that. We were taken care of very well on those sets. A lot of times by Charlie himself, but also a couple other chefs that had come in to help, do craft services for us. And man, those are some lifesavers. Those are some real lifesavers.
Well, the craft services for Interval, like the 3 individuals that was chosen to do craft services for Interval, they was all family-oriented people. Chef PJ, and then I forgot the other young lady's name, and I sincerely apologize. But when I told her my vision of it and what I heard about movie sets and craft services, where it was more or less, I hate this crap. Like it wasn't any love or
it's like pizza every day.
I've been through that.
So when she came to the set to see how she was going to set up, how things was going to be served, she embodied the ideal of having family style. She embodied the idea where people sit down, to bring people together. Because when you're on your lunch break and you're at work, if the lunchroom has animosity in it, it's kind of hard or difficult for you to go back to that second half of the shift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A good, solid, comforting break gives you the energy to recharge and go, another 4 hours, or in our case, another 8 hours.
In our case, another, 16. It's
it's almost like a reset button in a lot of ways, where you just get to, whatever happened before is cool, we're done. Now we get to reformulate, come back a little stronger.
You do have to be careful, though, because you'll get the itis. Charlie gives us the itis all the time.
Yeah, I get it, too.
Her name was Precious, by the way.
Precious.
Shout out to Precious.
Yes, Precious.
Yeah. So, Charlie, you do cooking a lot. Like, you also kind of make it a job. It's kind of a profession for you. I was wondering, do you have any crazy stories? I know you got stories. Okay. I gotta let you in on a secret, David. I told Charlie I was gonna ask him for a story today, and he started telling me this story, and I had to tell him, Charlie, save it for the podcast. But it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if you spent any amount of time working professionally in the kitchen, you have stories. It's basically a guarantee.
That's true.
You have to have some crazy stuff. So I'm all ears.
Well, crazy story is not necessarily in the kitchen, but it was while I was at culinary school. I went to culinary school, Pennsylvania Culinary. It's located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if it's still operating right now. I graduated from there more than 20 years ago. So I actually been cooking professionally for 31 years now. I started in 93.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I actually started cooking professionally in 93. But anyway, back to the story. So when I got to Pittsburgh, I kind of clicked with the people that was from the Cleveland, Akron, Youngstown area, different cities in Ohio. And it was this one particular girl, I'm going to change her name to something generic, Tamika. And we kind of clicked. She was a relatively intelligent, smart young lady, so she actually graduated high school early. She was only 17. Her and another young lady, we'll give her the name as Debbie. Her and Debbie went to a mall. Debbie's from Jersey. Debbie was like 20 years old, just starting culinary school. So they went to the mall. Debbie was going to teach Tamika how to shoplift, how to steal clothes and things. Tamika got caught. Tamika called me knowing that my cell phone number at that time, we both had the same area code. And it wasn't Tamika that called me, but she gave Pittsburgh police my number. And I was supposed to be her dad. When they asked, was I her dad? I quickly went into mode like, oh, she's in trouble. Like, what's the problem? Like, and so we went through the conversation. She was shoplifting. They have her at the station. Since she's a minor, they have to release her. She has a court date, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I'm in Akron. Yeah, she told us that you were in Akron. She's from Akron. She's here. Yeah. It's going to take me a few hours to get there, but I would definitely. And so I told her roommates, I told the other people that we was friends with, and we went through the whole process. I put a little gray in my beard.
No
That's
way.
how actually
Wow.
my beard started turning gray earlier. So, and
It's still in there.
yeah, so I
Never
put
quite
on
came out.
a little outfit, made it look like I was kind of business-like, and I went to the police station and they released her to me.
That is
Wow.
actually wild.
And how old were you at the time?
At the time, I was 22.
Wow.
Yeah, because I actually started cooking before I went to culinary school.
Right.
I went to culinary school to get an executive chef position for the hotel I was working at. I got set down for the interview, and I was all excited because me and the past executive chef had a good relationship. Me and the general manager of the hotel had a good relationship, and the general manager looked at me and said, "Yeah, but you don't have a degree," and that's one of the prerequisites: a degree or at least 10 years experience to be an executive.
They hit you with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the good thing of that, they did give me money to go to school.
Yeah.
By the time I completed school, the hotel was actually closed down for renovations.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
So the moral of the story is Charlie's a real one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and me and Tamika, we was good friends for a while after that. Like to this day, like it'd be months, maybe even a couple years that pass, and she'd call me or I get in touch with her. How you doing? Sit around for drinks. You know, actually, most of the people that I went to culinary school that was from this area, you know, you can tell true friendships because we still every now and then, hey, how you doing? You know, I remember, and yeah, I got a lot more stories.
No, I believe it.
sure
I
you
believe
do.
it.
Hey, my name is Sir Evans, and I'm the founder of Quality Service and the founder of the Superpower Planner, where our goal is to help save 1 million lives through the power of planning. And we want to make sure you start your 2025 off right with the Superpower Planner. Why is this so important? Because it helps us to break down our goals into smaller sections. Far too often we overwhelm ourselves, whether it's spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, in the careers that we're following. How can we break those down into smaller sections? The Superpower Planner is equipped with those sections to help you break those down, as well as your monthly budget so that you can have a plan for your time. But that's just where we get started. Because each planner also comes with its own companion feature, whether it's wireless charging, built-in charging, 16 gig flash drive. Some of the models even have Bluetooth speakers, which is our Superpower Planner Beat Book, has a built-in speaker and recording. Make sure you grab your Superpower Planner, and we got a discount code just for you.
So we got a little look at your kind of history of cooking. I think for me, and I think probably a lot of people at the studio, we knew you through your cooking, you know, even when you were at OMS.
Okay.
But you've had plans for a while, radio plans.
Yes.
In particular, starting your own radio show and getting your own company up and running. Tell us a little bit about that.
Plans for a radio station started. Serious plans for a radio station probably started when I was at OMS school. It became relevant or became an actual vision. Like, yes, I can accomplish this.
Yeah.
The idea came in my head years ago. I stopped listening to radio, and growing up, I prefer radio over television all the time because radio, I like to imagine things. I like to think outside of the box. You know, I don't like to go along with the whole program because it's like, is everybody doing the same thing? How are we going to advance? How are we going to move forward?
Right.
How are things going to change for the better? So
Right.
with that in mind, and I know I'm a little long-winded, but with that in mind, I said, let's do it. After going on, it can be done. And I teamed up with Fats William Johnson, who's my partner for City Living Entertainment. And we found a website that would start the app for us. You know, we pay monthly fees and do all that, start the app, help us with the website and things. So we started doing it. We collecting content now for City Living Entertainment.
Oh, cool. Where are you at in the process of the actual station itself?
The actual station itself, at this particular moment, for us to move forward in full capacity, we need to come up with about $6,500.
That's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of that is licensing.
Is that for, I was about to ask, is that for FCC regulation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
quite a bit. I want to say about 4,000 of that is for the FCC.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we do podcasting.
Yeah, and also with the FCC, it's a yearly fee. This money has to be paid to them yearly, and It only runs from January 1st to December 31st. So if you come in May, you still have to pay them that. I want to say it's like $4,200. It's a little over $4,000. So we're trying to plan where we start at the first of the year at some point. We didn't hit our deadline for 2025, so the actual app will be coming out 2026, but we're going to start to drop content. So still look out for City Living Entertainment. If you ever see our logo, City Living Entertainment, home of Cuyahoga Fame. When you see Cuyahoga Fame, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. You know, I'm not sure. Can we put the logo up at some point?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll definitely.
Okay, so
It's playing on the screen right now, Charlie.
okay, cool. So, so when you see the logo, you know, just that's us. Click on it, like it, share it. We'll be on a couple different platforms where if you want to help us to get that 6,500 so we can actually become a full app, you know, we'll be on platforms where you can donate. So look out for it.
Absolutely. So for our video watchers and our audio listeners, we're gonna have a link in the description of this video to whether it be your page or some way that they can find you and kind of reach out.
And just to let C4B viewers know, you don't necessarily have to not watch C4B to tune in to City Living Entertainment because we plan on featuring them on the app. So
Absolutely. Yeah,
at some point we're gonna have to sit down and have that conversation where you guys have your 30 or 1 hour podcast scheduled. So, like I said, you'll never miss or not be.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've actually been talking recently with Charlie. We're so excited for this collaboration because, as I mentioned, we've been trying to also do. At some point in time, the reason we do podcasting is because it's really hard to get FCC regulation. Mm-hmm. But when we team up as we are right now to do podcasts and things like this, you know, we get to help be a part of the whole process. And I think that's what we want to do. That's what we thrive to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's also building, collaboration, building a culture. It's a lot easier. Everybody grows a lot more when we're all kind of in it together. So it's something I'm excited for.
That's another great thing about City Living Entertainment because not only will we have a podcast on the radio for listeners, you know what I'm saying, podcasts will be featured on the website as well for viewers, and we're taking a different approach. Even though we're looking for the FCC licensing and things, we're committed to having unsigned or maybe not mainstream artists, local artists on the station, not just musicians, but spoken word poets, comedians. We want the platform to be open to all types of entertainment, all types of genres of music. And we want to change the stigma of the inner city in general, whether it be Black Americans, white Americans, Hispanic Americans, or just the stigma of the inner city from my point of view is negative. Like, I mean, I used to listen to music and that would give me an insight to another city, and some of the music I hear coming out of the city, I don't want to go there. Like, no, that's not a place I want to be. I want to have an inviting, an
inclusive environment.
Yes, that's a good word. That's a good word for it. So, and make it user friendly. You know, not so much vulgar music. I don't want. One of the key things that for us to play your content on the radio station, on the app, is it can't promote violence. It can't promote crime. You know, it has to be a positive vibe somewhere. Yeah,
I mean, at Studio Zero, we have the same kind of ethos of if it's not uplifting, what are you doing? Especially nowadays when it feels like you need that stuff more than ever.
A lot of people want it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have conversation with people, and you're talking about entertainment, it's usually the lack of quality of entertainment. And I'm not talking about the visual quality, like the lights or, the quality of the picture itself. You're saying the color and everything, but it's the content, the quality of the actual content itself.
It's funny you bring that up. We did a. I think it was when I was rocking this podcast solo. Without guests or anything. Like, it was like one of the earlier seasons. We talked about Scandalous Society. That's what it was called.
Okay.
And just like how easily we're influenced by things and how important it is to kind of not only filter ourselves, but also like be mindful of the things that you're trying to, include others in, right?
Yeah.
So like that's kind of why, like we've talked to people before about like, oh, we should do these like late night, we should do these, and some people give us these crazy ideas about this is the kind of content that we would like to see, and some of it we have to say like, no, we're not going to make that kind of content because, it's just not the kind of content that we want to be influencing others with. So that's a cool mission statement that City Living Entertainment has.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And definitely something that everybody need to push for.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to work on the set of a movie or TV show? Do you want to know what goes on behind the scenes of producing a feature film or a commercial? Students in the iFilm program make tons of content, including a short film, music video, promos, and a feature film. No other program develops as much content as iFilm. From screenwriting to set design, working with actors and directors, as well as post-production, you'll learn what it takes to build a career in the film industry. And we're currently accepting new students. Sign up at iPhone216.com so you don't have to wonder anymore. We'll see you there.
All right, so we did this thing a while ago, Charlie. Our podcast is named Chicken for Breakfast. So I got to get your take. I got to get the quite literal hot take. What is the best chicken spot in Cleveland, Ohio?
My house.
Ooh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah. It really depends on what you like. If you want the old KFC type original recipe where it's not too crispy or whatnot, that's the only place to get it.
Absolutely.
That's not necessarily what I like, but if that's what people like, that's actually the only place to get that type of chicken. I actually don't enjoy going to chicken places for fried chicken.
I was actually just about to ask, like, when you get the taste for fried chicken, is it always homemade?
Yes, if I have the taste for fried chicken where I want good fried chicken, yes, I have to make it myself. I don't want to give anybody or any company names or whatever, but the Louisiana Kitchen, the stuff that come in the orange box, it satisfies for the moment, but it doesn't satisfy the complete craving. So
Absolutely.
in 1 or 2 days, I'm going to cook my own anyway.
So that kind of brings me to a very interesting question, and I don't know if you were getting there. You like making food, but are you a foodie? Does food matter to you?
I'm a foodie with myself. I'm not a foodie around people because I don't want to say I have a sensitive palate, but my taste buds aren't normal.
Right.
Like, I know you guys know, I don't eat a lot of chips, Doritos, or anything like that because I particularly really don't like it. I eat it because it's around. It's snack food is impulse. It's there. I actually eat a lot like that when it comes to, in general, things. I need to eat, so let me get this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Charlie's just he's a different breed, man. He's always, cooking. That's what's cooking, Charlie.
Yeah.
Well, I give you another example of like with my own snacks or whatever. When I do make my own snacks, I'll go out, buy popcorn kernels, put them in a skillet with the butter, and cook it on my own. Sometimes I move away from butter and use like sesame oil or avocado oil.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use garlic oil or whatever to change the flavor
Oh,
of the
okay.
popcorn.
Yeah.
Or when it comes to mixed nuts, same thing. I put the nuts in a pan and roast them off myself. Maybe sprinkle a little cayenne on there with a little salt, a little sugar just to curb the heat of the cayenne. And even with nuts, I might a little ground ginger, maybe a little spice with it with some orange peel and orange juice. Toss it together and you got your Asian flavored mixed nuts.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of an interesting thing. I don't think that most people in their head realize that a lot of what you eat in terms of snack food is stuff you could just legit make yourself. Like I got to sign off on the popcorn stuff. My household, we haven't bought popcorn in like a bag of popcorn in years. We just buy the kernels.
That's
and pop
very
it ourselves.
interesting. We used to do that as kids too.
Yeah.
I actually prefer popping the corn myself.
Oh yeah, me too. 100%.
But that doesn't mean I'm not going to go buy some. But
Right. If I'm at a movie theater, you know, you got. Obviously, you can't like get behind. You can't get behind the counter and start, you know. But yeah, at home, and it's not hard.
It's not hard.
It's not hard.
And another great thing about popping your own corn, especially if you have a family, if you have children, it's something that they can do with you. They may not actually have to touch the pan or be with the fire if they're too small, but the time that you spend watching it happen.
Oh, they love watching. I used to love watching it.
Yeah.
And strangely enough, I think it's easier than throwing a bag in the microwave.
Yeah.
I think it's easier.
Yeah.
Because you almost can't mess it up. It's almost impossible to burn popcorn like that.
That is true.
But like you know, you're always taking a chance with that bag.
Yeah, that
and then
10, 15 seconds.
And for the poor soul that hits the popcorn button, you know, who knows what you're getting.
Right.
So
I don't hit the popcorn button.
no. I had a microwave though that every button stopped working but the popcorn button. So that was the only way you
So
could
every
use it.
every food, everything you put in the microwave revolved around popcorn time.
Yes.
It's funny that we got on this topic because literally you asked a question earlier, and I said What was the question? The question was what food tastes better, burnt? And I said popcorn.
That's wild. I can't stand burnt popcorn.
Not too much, but like I would prefer
A little over.
a little crispier popcorn, a little crispier.
Yeah.
I like it light sometimes. Other times when I'm feeling bold, burn my popcorn.
But if you want to like blow out a kitchen or the the office at work or something, burn a bag of popcorn.
Oh,
burn a bag of
Goes
popcorn.
everywhere.
It's all over.
Yeah, for me, the only food that I can actually eat burnt, not burnt and charred with a little char for me is a little different. But burnt hot dogs, that would be probably the only thing where.
I think so. I think I agree with that. Yeah.
You know,
So, before we wrap this podcast up, Charlie, I have a very important question. What is your favorite thing to make? Favorite thing to cook?
jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken.
You had that on the. He was ready to go.
So when you make jerk chicken, do you do like a wet jerk chicken or a dry jerk chicken?
Depends on how I feel.
Okay.
It depends on what I'm trying to do, who I'm making it for. There's a lot of factors that go into jerk. I met someone from the islands. They was from St. Croix. And it was a female, and she would only make jerk for people that she loved, and she made it known. It's a love language.
Yeah.
Jerk is a love language. So she made jerk for me all the time.
Hey.
But with that being said, she didn't ever make the same one. Depending on who you were.
Yeah.
You know, so I started to get in that, and I learned that the jerk, not everybody jerk is the same.
No.
Not all. Yeah, so, but to get that jerk flavor, because for some reason it always had like the same flavor profile. And I thought that was interesting. You know, a lot of people from the islands or people that do jerk uses mixture of juniper berries, or maybe not juniper berries, but they might put allspice on it. You know, standard lime juice, garlic. You know, some type of herb. You know, most everybody use those ingredients. Salt, peppers, goes without saying. But sometimes she will put cinnamon and nutmeg in it. You know, sometimes it's coriander, a little cumin. And it always had the same flavor profile, no matter what ingredients she mixed up. So I kind of fell in love with that. So it may be more sentimental than it is anything, but yeah, when I'm a go-to meal for me, for myself, in my comfort zone, jerk chicken. And it doesn't always have to be grilled, you know. I've jerked the turkey before, so it's jerk. I've wet jerk, dry rub. Sometimes I let it marinate in the wet jerk, take it out, let all the wet jerk drain off, and then put it in the dry rub. It's either in the smoker or roasted in the oven. So yeah, jerk chicken would probably be.
That's a good choice. That's a very good choice because jerk chicken is one of my most favorite meals I've ever sat down to in my life.
I don't think I've ever had jerk chicken.
We'll have to make some jerk chicken.
It's a tricky thing because it's not because like you were saying, it's always a little bit different from one person to another. So like I've had some real bad jerk chicken.
Yeah,
I've had some fantastic jerk chicken that
and
you don't forget it.
That do jerk and that's from America. They looking at me when I say cinnamon and nutmeg. I'm sure of this. Trust me, if you understand flavor and know how to combine things, cinnamon is not just for desserts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Culinary 101 with Charlie. Do we gotta do a video with Charlie?
We might need to. We might need to
do a video called Cooking with Charlie.
Yeah.
Where he walks us through one of his favorite things to cook.
Yeah, I even my very first time recording was for an OMS project. It was a short that I had to
I remember this.
and I made jerk chicken for the short.
I remember this.
It was about 2, maybe 3 minutes long, somewhere in that time frame. And I didn't get the measurements for the ingredients that I used, but I made 2 different types of jerks on that show. It was a wet jerk and a dry jerk. You know, I had fun doing it. I mean, I always have fun.
Absolutely.
Jerking, so.
You know, we should make a video where it happens at the beginning of the day, and we should make chicken, and we should call it Chicken for Breakfast.
We can do that.
We can hook that up.
We're not gonna keep that in.
We're
We're not gonna keep that in.
Charlie, thank you for coming through.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
You know, if it might not be obvious to all the viewers, but Charlie's been around here. He's been involved in almost everything we've had going on, you know, since he's come through here. So he's been a big help. Even behind the scenes on the podcast, you've been helping out.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and we enjoy, you know, having you here. It's great to have someone, you know, a little extra hand to come in and kind of hold stuff down around here. And that's not even talking about the food.
Yeah,
that's not even talking about the food.
That's its own thing.
So it was a pleasure to have you on here. You know, and to all the collaborations in the future, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I am too.
Yeah,
I can't wait. So Charlie, one more time, just for, you know, for good time's sake, where can we find you?
City Living Entertainment. CityLivingEntertainment.com. Also, you can hit us up on Gmail, CityLivingEntertainment@gmail.com. We have an IG page, City Living Entertainment. So just punch in City Living Entertainment. You see Cuyahoga Fame, that's us.
There you go. And that's going to wrap up today's episode of the Chicken for Breakfast podcast.
yeah. And remember, chicken is a soul food.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
So why not start your day out right with Chicken for Breakfast, made by Charlie O himself. Peace.